Highland Park is called to order at 6 o'clock p.m. Brian, can you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Grossberg?
Here.
Commissioner Flores-Weisskopf?
Here.
Vice President Ruttenberg?
Here.
Commissioner Bergstein is absent, and President Kaplan.
I'm here as well. Do the commissioners have any additions to the agenda? Okay. We're going to go out of order yet again. And is there any public comment for items that are on the agenda? And if you're here to speak about Highland Park Community Nursery School, the only thing that is on the agenda is the easement itself, not whether or not the school should be there, or the city is the city's decision in this, or the school district's decision in this, just on the easement. So is there, with that said, is there anyone from the public who would like to comment on any items on the agenda? Wow, okay. Next, we have the Highland Park Community Nursery School Agreement. Zach Wakeman from Highland Park Community Nursery School will present.
Perfect. Good evening.
Hi.
How's everyone doing?
Good.
Good. Thank you for getting these slides up here. Hopefully everybody can see them. Just wanted to give a brief overview. Some of this has been presented before, and you've seen some of this, but just kind of as a refresher of where we stand right now. So this is an overhead of the entire Westridge Center site and the Westridge Center right here. Overlaid on that is the proposed Highland Park Community Nursery School. The building would sit on the District 112 property. That's at the northwest corner of Westridge Center, with a parking lot that is primarily on the district parking lot, but connects with the Park District parking lot with ingress and egress provided from Ridge Road. So this kind of just is a context photo for that. That's definitely not how I go to the next slide. We'll figure this out. There we are. All right, this is an exterior elevation of the building. This does not have the landscaping on it, so landscaping will be the next slide. There's extensive landscaping all around the perimeter of the building and on the site as well. This just gives an idea. This right here would be what is facing towards the parking lot, facing towards Westridge Center. This plan, as we're showing it to you right now, has been before the city's Plan and Design Commission. It's passed through that process. The lease with District 112 has been finalized and approved. The last steps that we have in the approval process being before you tonight for your consideration, and then final approval with City Council of our special use permit that we intend to be before them on May 13th. This is the landscape plan for that site. So as I said before, that the view of the building is not entirely what you would you'd be seeing. We have extensive natural landscaping. So there's a lot of trees that are being added to the property, additional screening that'll be provided, especially for the neighbors along the north property line. This area here, this is really, I'm sorry, so along the north property line, I'm not sure everyone can see my pointer. I can barely see it. Is a water detention area. So this is not a pond, it's not standing water, it's just where water is directed during large storm events before it is then released into the city storm sewer system. So that's all going to be native vegetation and tall prairie grasses, and is going to provide, hopefully, a lot of relief then for all of our neighbors along the north property line and also for Westridge, as the requirement is that any of the water falling on our site is then contained on our site and directed to this.
Just for clarification, can you point that out? Because I couldn't see the pointer. I don't.
Oh, sure. Here, let me see if I can zoom in.
Even if you just point it. Mm-hmm. No, I got my screen here. I just when you use your pointer, I can't see it on my screen.
Yeah, me either. So it's this area along the top here. So
right here.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is the perimeter of that detention area.
I see it now. Thank you.
And then the center is
Brian, you
is
can
the
move
area
the screen back so people can see.
Is that's planted with the prairie
I
grasses.
see it. Thank you.
Landscaping continues all around our perimeter, and to a degree as allowed by space around the parking lot. The idea with the site design was to minimize our footprint on what is currently an open field. So we tried to pull everything as tight as we could over towards the existing parking lot and Westridge Center to leave as much of that site, what's kind of white open space in that left area, the left-hand corner, that's all going to remain as open field space.
Is there a way to go back and show
Yeah.
what portion, because that was going to be my question, like how much of that area to the west of that school is going to be taken up by new landscaping?
This
Yeah.
western portion here.
Mm-hmm.
So very little. So we've concentrated, as I try to navigate back. So we've concentrated that landscaping at the building. Right, so this is the building edge here, and you can see where the trees and landscaping kind of end there as well, providing that sightline screening for the neighbors along the north.
Have they asked for that? I mean, is that...
Yeah, that's something that we've discussed with those neighbors specifically. Other things that we've talked to them about would be like our outdoor lighting and lighting on our parking lot. So those are going to be on both photocells and timers. So that at 6:30 p.m., when all the kids are gone, when all of our staff is gone, no matter what, those lights are going to turn off. They're not going to be on all night. So these were things that we wanted to do in consideration and conversation with the neighbors.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, so there's a large portion of that, the western part of that of the site that's not colored in, but that is all going to remain as grass.
Great.
And then more specific to then the Park District of Highland Park is going to be that the ingress and egress and use of the parking lot, and that's the bulk of the agreement that we're asking you to consider tonight. So this is the layout of the current Westridge parking lot, and then the next slide down is going to show the proposed expansion. So I'll click back and forth one more time to give context. So it's adding on and extending the parking lot over, then adding additional spots over here. So the way that this design came to be, we needed, based off of our traffic study and looking at all of our programming, we needed 30 parking spaces that would be dedicated to Highland Park community, and this is following along with city code then for our building and use. The Circle Drive area was something that was designed then in coordination with the Highland Park Fire Department to ensure that there was fire and safety access to the site so that they can turn a truck around in here. We then looked at how many spots new spots would be created on what is Park District of Highland Park property. So there's a total of 9 new parking spots that are created on the Park District property. And what we've proposed is that, so 3 of those spots are shown here in red, these 3 new spots, and then 6 of those spots are in green. For simplicity of signage and minimizing the amount of signage we would have to show, we've proposed that we would mark 9 spots along the southern edge here for Highland Park community, and these 3 spots that are added would not then have to be signed and marked off. So we want to minimize the amount of signage we're putting out there, ease of operation for snow plows as well, so we're not putting signage out in the middle of the parking area here.
Where would your staff be parking?
So staff, we're going to be encouraging to park either in these 6 or 9 spots here, or along this western edge of our parking lot. The way that we do pick up and drop off is parents walk children into the building and drop them off, and it happens over a staggered period of time. So it's not a defined start or defined end time to the day. students can arrive anywhere between 7:30 and 9 a.m. So the parents, we're going to be encouraging to pull into these spots that are directly in front of the building, all along the side over here. Here is our handicap accessible ramp and stroller access into the building. So these are the spots that we're going to encourage families to then use for drop-off and pickup, staff along this western edge, and then up here in the Park District parking lot.
Just to be clear, HP community, are you referring to the nursery school, or are you talking about the greater HP community?
Sorry, the nursery school. We refer to ourselves and do business as Highland Park Community.
Okay. So there's going to be signage on those 9 spots saying this is for HB community. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I believe the intention is to have maybe even just 2 signs, one on either side that says parking spots reserved for Highland Park Community, and we can talk to. So part of the agreement is that any of the signage that would be installed on Park District property would be shown to and approved by the Park District. So I understand the confusion
I'd
on
be confused,
wording.
right? I want to make
Sure.
sure you may want to have it say nursery school or whatever you're calling yourself
Sure.
beyond HB community.
I think that's a good point, and we can definitely look at doing that. And I believe that's my last slide. Any other questions that I can answer to help?
I just have one. I just want, now that you've shown the slide and it's been on camera, reassurances for there is be some kind of barrier between the spaces facing east in the little village.
Yes, absolutely. So there are currently removable bollards that protect these parking spots here that allow Park District to remove them and back trucks up to, I believe this is the gymnasium. So those will remain in place, and then any additional screening that would be needed, whether that be a fence or the addition of a couple bollards for protection there, is again covered in the agreement to be something that is done in coordination with the Park District.
Okay.
So yes, we absolutely intend to provide that protection and separation from Safety Village with bollards or tire stops, fencing or landscaping, whatever is most appropriate.
Okay.
And the staff seems happy with that solution?
And again, it's the 9 spots where you want your staff.
Correct.
Okay. That makes sense, because I would be concerned about children crossing that parking lot. Gets a little wild.
Yeah, no, that
Smart
definitely.
to,
Absolutely, yeah, no, we intend for these spots not to be for staff use.
not for staff?
Sorry, the pointer makes this difficult. The spots that are closest to the building.
You have to look at where he's.
I know, it's too
Yeah.
I can't see it.
Sorry, I'll describe. So
Yeah.
the spots that are closest to the building.
Yeah, the green spots you're talking about.
No, maybe you should walk up there and literally
Sure.
point.
I'm sorry.
Because we don't see the pointer on our screen,
Yeah.
so.
So these spaces that are closest to the building
Yes.
is what
You
we
mean this.
intend to have for families, and we're gonna discourage staff from parking.
Right.
So
Okay.
so staff would be parking right in these
Okay.
spots here.
Okay, that's how I understood
Or
it.
these western edged spots.
Okay, good, got it, thank you. Yeah, that was my concern. If those green spots, when you say reserved, I didn't think it was, I'd be cautious because of families and then crossing the street or crossing that parking lot to get to the school.
Sure.
That's a good solution.
And this could go along with the comment about clear signage. It might say
Staff.
HP community staff.
Yeah.
I think so.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the ordinance 19-04, authorizing the board president and the interim executive director of the Park District of Highland Park to execute an easement agreement between the Park District of Highland Park and Highland Park Community Nursery School and Daycare Center? So moved. Can I get a second?
I'll s-
Second.
Okay, do the commissioners want to have any more discussion on the motions? Okay, if none, Brian, call the roll.
Commissioner Grossberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Flores-Weiskopf,
Aye.
Vice President Ruttenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernstein is not here, President Kaplan.
Aye. Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I did. Terry, did you want a second?
No, you got it.
Okay, next is
Terry.
I put you.
Why don't we take a 5-minute break?
Can make introductions.
Thank you.
Thanks, Zach. Have a good night.
Kathy.
Thank you, Adam.
Yeah.
What's on the agenda? Nothing. How are you? I can stay for a few minutes. How are you, sir? I'll stay until 6:30. If there's anything interesting.
Thanks, Rob.
Okay.
Great
Rob?
job.
Thanks, Rob.
Great job,
You were
Rob.
great.
Bring it home there.
Okay.
We'd have our
Thank you for your
back.
presence.
We'd have our back.
Barney's not leaving now.
Hey, the
I'll
best
stay for a
meetings
little
are the
while.
ones you don't say anything.
I agree.
He wants to
You know,
see
that's the
the.
problem with the pointer.
Not
We
yet,
don't get it
Amalia.
on our screen.
Hold on.
You know?
I have to be home
It
around
makes
7.
up for what happened all week.
You know,
last
again,
week.
I say we spend the money
know
and
what
get
that
the
is?
Public
sound
comment.
Amalia,
Do I know what that
Consent.
take the seat.
No,
is? Is that what you
What are we talking?
just what we,
Yeah, I guess you
In
will be.
general.
Yeah.
next.
Yeah, so just
Yeah.
take the seat.
Are you going to do?
I was brought late, very late to the party.
Okay, let's keep going. Next is the consent agenda with the changes that Commissioner Bernstein suggested earlier today.
Right, on April 9th, Commissioner,
Thank you, Rob. I'm sorry.
the minutes from April 9th, Commissioner Bernstein, the minutes need to reflect that he was not here and President Kaplan was here.
With those changes, move the consent agenda. Can I get a second?
Second.
You guys call, Brian, can you call the roll?
Commissioner Grossberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Flores Weiskopf,
Here?
Vice President Ruttenberg,
Aye.
Commissioner Bernstein is absent, President Kaplan.
Aye, motion carries. First on our unfinished business is the Attitude and Interest Survey update. Amalia Schwartz and Jeff Anderson.
Yeah. So
Oh, okay.
let's pull up the chair. Is Rob using his
Rob's.
I know. Go ahead.
Yeah, Rob's done.
Oh, there's a comfy one here.
Cal may come in at any time. So.
No, he's going to stay to the end of the year.
Oh, yes, okay.
So Jeff, if I butchered your last name, I apologize.
Andreessen.
Okay,
So good evening.
you're on.
We're here tonight to present and provide a progress report on the Attitude and Interest Survey. Jeff Andreessen is here today from Acuity Research. He'll give a overview of the final survey and answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation. So, oops, let's see. There we go. So this was a 4-step process, developing the survey, conducting the survey, doing our analysis, and then a final report. So right now we're finalizing the survey and we're gearing up for the survey administration. The final survey was developed through input from board and from our staff. The questionnaire is expected to take residents about 12 to 15 minutes to complete. And respondents will have the opportunity to rate satisfaction with district programs, facilities, parks. They can identify any unmet recreational needs within the community, share priority parks, facilities, and programs, and indicate any priority improvements. And Jeff is going to go do a general overview of the survey, so he'll give a little bit more detail on that. So we're working with Acuity to conduct a statistically valid survey. To do that, we are sending the survey questionnaire out to a random sample with the goal of receiving 800 completed surveys. With 800 completed surveys, we will achieve a 95% confidence level and a plus or minus 3.5% margin of error. So once we get those surveys back, Acuity is going to use the demographic information and compare it with U.S. Census data to ensure that it's a representative sample of the Highland Park community. The random sample is provided by a third-party source, which has a national database of residential households that is continually updated. And just to confirm or clarify, the questionnaire will only be sent to those selected as part of the random sample. So in just a few weeks, those selected households are going to receive a questionnaire in the mail. in that packet, they will have the option to call a toll-free number to complete the survey by phone, or they'll have a URL where they can go and find the survey online. So those selected to complete the survey will have three options. They can complete it by mail, they can complete it by phone, or they can complete it online. A week or so after the mailing goes out, a postcard will go out to remind those that have not responded and encourage them to complete the survey. A week after that, a phone call will go out to remind non-respondents to complete the survey. They'll also have the opportunity to complete the survey. They'll give them the URL, or they'll offer to complete it with them on the phone. So data collection starts the week of May 6th. So we're excited to get that going in the month of May. So I'm going to turn it over to Jeff, and he's going to give you a general overview of the survey, and he'll be able to answer any of your questions.
Great, thank you. So as Amalia mentioned, the trick in designing these surveys is making sure that we're able to capture as much information that the staff and the board is seeking to understand from the community in terms of its input on your parks and your facilities and your programs and any unmet needs that they have, and doing it in a concentrated and short enough survey so that they don't get tired and drop out of the survey process altogether. So the length of the survey that we've landed on comes after figuring out which of those questions and which of those information needs from the Park District are really the highest priority for you, so that we can keep it in as condensed a length as possible. Very briefly, without going into every single question, we tend to start very broad and general in terms of the topics that we ask, and then get more and more focused as we get into the survey. So we begin with just some very general questions about residents' overall opinions about the Park District, and then some open-ended questions where they can, in their own words, say, this is what I think the Park District does really well, or these are its strengths, and likewise, these are the things that the Park District doesn't do very well, or some weaknesses or opportunities for improvements. So we want to get their impressions and their perspective first before we start testing specifics. Well, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? We'll get into those later. From there, we move into questions about the parks and the facilities in the community that belong to the agency, to understand what they and their household have used recently, and which ones they use most often. And for those who have used or been to some of your parks and facilities, to get some feedback in terms of their satisfaction as to the overall experience, how well those parks and facilities are maintained, the sense of safety that they had any interaction with Park District staff, their level of satisfaction with that. And then if they're dissatisfied with any parks or facilities or interactions, again, an open-ended opportunity for them to say, I'm unhappy with this park because of this reason, or I'm unhappy with this facility because of that reason. So again, we can get very focused feedback from them. For those who live in the community and say, we haven't been to any of your parks or facilities recently, this is a very important group that we want to understand. We ask those people, why not? What's prevented you from going to take advantage of any of our assets or properties? And they can choose as many reasons as they want, or fill in an answer that explains why they're non-users of the Park District. And then when we ask the demographic question at the end of the survey, we can profile what the non-users look like compared to the users, so that you can understand if there are certain profiles within the community for that non-user group, as well as where they get their information. So if it's a communication barrier, they're just not aware, they're not reading the Park District materials, but if they're getting information from the library or from the schools or from the village, that might be an opportunity for the Park District to try and reach more of its residents through those channels if your communications aren't doing the job. And then from there we get into more specific needs assessment questions in terms of outdoor facilities, sports fields, pools, driving range, those sorts of things, indoor facilities, gym courts, dance studios, arts facilities, and so on, and programs. And for each of those 3 areas, we ask whether or not their household has an interest or a need for each of those. And if they say, yes, we do, we're interested in gym courts, or we're interested in the aqua park, we want to know how well those needs are being met, whether they're being met by the park district or any other source. It might be a country club, it might be a fitness center, it might be a yoga studio, it might be a neighboring park district. If they feel their needs are already being met, then we know it's probably not a priority for them. But if they say, yes, we're interested in this, and we're having a hard time finding it, or we're not satisfied with the options that are out there, that will represent a gap that perhaps the park district could address. And then we wrap that question up by asking if the park district had to focus on one of those areas of need, which one would be most important for you? So there might be 3 or 4 or 5 items in terms of each of those sections that represent an opportunity for you. But if we can narrow those down to say, of these 5, these are the 2 that are really the most important, then we can provide you with a little more direction and a sense of priority. So again, we do that for outdoor facilities, we do that for indoor facilities, and we do that for programming. And then the other thing that we do on programming is we ask residents if there's any programming that they would like the park district to consider offering for very specific age groups. Preschool children, elementary age children, kind of the middle school group, ages 11 through 14, high school, and then different adult categories as well, so that they can say, I'd like more arts and crafts for this group, or I'd like fitness programs for this age group, or I'd like travel or experiential opportunities for this age group. So again, we want them to tell us what they want rather than testing specific things that you think they might want. And then from there, we get into a list of potential capital improvements, more significant improvements that the district is facing in terms of facilities that are in need of renovation or upgrade that are representing considerable capital priorities, to understand from residents how much of a priority they think each of those is on a scale, and then again, after going through that list, to identify the capital effort that they think is most important. And if they don't think any of them are important, they can leave it blank, and we'll know that they didn't think any of them thought it was important. That's a very important question, and we get into a description of the facilities and what needs to be done, or what the thought is in terms of what needs to be done. So when we pose that question, whether it's online or by phone, those will be read in a different order for every respondent, or shown in a different order for every respondent. If it's a mail survey, we'll have different versions of the survey that randomize the order, because we don't want any effect in terms of, well, you had the 2 biggest projects up at the top and the smaller projects at the bottom, or the flip order. We don't want that to be affecting how people are answering the question. So randomizing the order takes away that order effect. And then we wrap up the survey with questions again about where they get information about Park District facilities, programs, services. Where else in the community they go for recreation and fitness. Again, private facilities, swim clubs, neighboring park districts, the forest preserve sites, and then why? Why do they choose those options instead of taking participation with the park district's facilities and programs? Again, to see if it's something negative that they feel about the park district, a better value somewhere else, a lack of awareness that the park district is offering these facilities and programs, so that you know which response and which remedy is most appropriate. And then finally, we wrap up with, again, the demographics, and it's about 5 or 6 questions. Their gender, we know where they live. We have a geocode that just tells us what neighborhood people live in, so we'll know geographically how representative our sample is, their age, their gender, whether or not they have children in the household, whether or not they have adults age 65 and older in the household, so that, again, we can compare our 800 plus respondents to census data. And if we see that we've got an overrepresentation of households with children or more people in this part of the community, we can weight our data to make sure that it's really in line with the U.S. Census data. And then from there, we analyze it, we start providing you results, and the goal is to have final results to you by early, mid-July.
All right. I've got 3 quick questions.
Sure.
They all kind of flow. I think you answered the last one, but how many are we sending out to get to 800?
We'll be sending about 3,000 to 4,000 to get 800.
Okay. What happens if we don't get
We'll send out more.
800? And I think you answered this because it's random. We're not focusing on X percentage to homes with little children, X percentage to homes with middle kids, X percentage of homes with no kids.
The random sample should be representative of the community. So we're not stratifying or targeting any group or any area. We're just doing a random coverage. So it's literally, you've got a list of households. You start on the 5th one and you take every 11th household that comes after that.
Okay. That's it?
That was 2.
No, the third was what he had answered.
Oh,
was
okay. I was like,
how do we make sure
something.
we get a good representation? And I think you got to that at the end of the presentation.
I have a quick question.
Yeah.
So, when you're getting these 800, is it, like I was looking through it, and I don't have great patience for filling out surveys. My wife, on the other hand, loves surveys. So I got to some of the essay questions, as I put it, and I would probably just start
Show that
losing.
he's a high school teacher. He doesn't like essay questions. That one's going to come back and haunt you, Terry.
Maybe that's why.
Middle school.
Commissioner. Okay, so anyways, is it a matter of completed surveys or that you're getting back? I mean, if a person just answers only the multiple choice questions or the check-off box commercial questions, does that play into the number that you take?
Yeah, if somebody completes the survey, and when I say completes the survey, they answer at least most of the questions from beginning to end. If they send it back with the first half answered and the last half unanswered, we probably would not count that as a completed survey. But you are not alone. There is a segment of almost every community and every sample that we have where the open-ended questions might have 1 or 2 words, or many of them are left blank. But if you completed the rest of the survey and all of the check mark and closed-ended questions, we would count that as a completed survey.
Will we have a chance to see, we all got to make comments. Will we get the chance to see the final project before it goes out?
Yeah.
So I just want to add, Cal and I are the liaisons for this project, and you did an excellent job in keeping us focused. Can you guys imagine Cal, like being able to ask as many questions as he can? Between that and, we were just real curious, you kept us on task. And what I wanted to share with the board is we went with 800 completed surveys. We could have actually gone with it 500 or 600, which would have been a minimal cost savings. But the consensus was with the team was that it was important that, 300 more households will have heard from us. And I think that contact is important for people to say, oh yeah, I got one. And also the other thing that we kind of tossed around and ended up agreeing to have the survey available to people in Spanish if they needed it. So in the event that a resident, is only Spanish speaking, they have a number to call, or it's where they can get a translated. So I thought that was really really helpful. So that's how we kind of came up with 800. And it's really fascinating just to hear how 800 really does give you a good pulse of what the community wants. And that's the whole, I don't even know, but it was fascinating when you explained it at the time. But it's a really good, it's accurate and just fascinating. And I think it's great too that there's a way where if you don't get 800 back, you just keep sending more till you get 800. So I look forward to the responses. I do.
Okay. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Before we move on, I am remiss that I did not thank Commissioner Ruttenberg for all the work he put in on the easement.
Yeah.
Because we never would have gotten it done without Barney's help in getting it and working on it.
Yeah. Thank you, Barney.
So I meant to thank
Joint
you.
effort.
No, but thank you.
Yeah, but more you.
Yeah, much more you. I acknowledge that.
Thank you.
Okay, next is Treasurer's Report. Annette Curtis.
Good evening, everyone.
Morning.
Not a whole lot this evening, but I'd like to point out, I'd like to take a few minutes to review the revenue section of the district-wide report. Just as a reminder, revenue is recognized on the program start date. That's the process which we've been following, trying to follow accrual accounting. And budgeting should follow that practice. And as I was looking over the financial statements, it was becoming apparent that that may not have been the case in every area. So I'd like to point those areas out to you. A few summer camps were incorrectly budgeted. And under the type camp, it's showing a year-to-date budgeted amount of 140. Well, we've had great enrollment with our camp, like a lot of excitement with our camps, but they haven't started yet. So the revenue has not been recognized yet. And that's why you're seeing $10,000 there instead of anywhere near the 140. That $10,000 does represent the revenue received for the spring break camp held at Deer Creek. Deer Creek is the only facility that hosts a spring break camp, and their budget was they were budgeting revenue of $6,750, and they received the $10,931. So they were actually ahead. So that's actually a plus. Once summer camps begin in June, you'll see the difference there. That variance will completely go away. So similar to that, the timing of budgeted revenue for fees and charges is overstated in the areas of picnic permits, Hidden Creek, daily fees, Park Avenue, and then Sunset Valley as well. The remaining areas that are currently receiving daily fees, so that is the rec center, the pool, I guess Deer Creek as well with their drop-in tennis, those are all within line with the budget for March. Changing topics altogether, we received the final property tax extension from Lake County. The extension was calculated at $11,505,859 for the general, the rec, and the special recreation funds. We requested slightly more than that at $11.6 million, so there's a difference about $155. And that's pretty typical. You usually try to levy or ask for a little more than what you're going to receive. So we're within $155,000. That's pretty good. The first distribution will be received on May 16th, and then following the same patterns as previous years, the 3 larger distributions will be received in June and then again in September.
Thank you.
Okay. Are there any questions or anything? Okay, the bills and payroll distributions presented tonight are checks written from March 15th through April 18th, 2019, and they total $1,503,337.25.
They have been reviewed.
They have been reviewed. Thank you. They are all ordinary expenditures within our budget parameters.
I have one question.
Yes.
The $155,000 differential in taxes, what is the impact on our budget?
Well, we were budgeting to receive that $155,000. I mean,
But we also made a comment that we recognize that we're not going to necessarily get the full amount that we request.
correct. And in other years, in prior years, we have taken the philosophy that we would budget a little less for the levy than we actually go out for the levy request. In 2019, we did not take that approach. So what we levied and what we budgeted were the exact same numbers.
Okay.
Okay, does that answer your question?
does.
So our budget is $155,000 behind
Right.
in revenue.
And how did our golf course do this weekend?
Our golf course, I heard a number, but I don't want to misspeak, so I'm going to ask Brian maybe to
I heard a
answer.
number.
They were very, very
We did
busy,
really
that I
well.
know.
Yeah, I think we had 225 on Sunday and 170 on Saturday. And we had 100 on day. So, very busy.
How about
and
the
very
restaurant too?
There was a brunch on Sunday, and I think it was, maybe close to 70 people. It was from 10 to 3, so it was busy throughout the day, people eating inside and outside.
Yeah. It's
very
important
well.
that people know that you don't have to be a golfer to enjoy the really nice restaurant. It's casual and expensive, and the view is just gorgeous. So I encourage you to get out there.
So, Brian?
Yeah.
My math is a little rusty.
Mm-hmm.
So if we take the number of people and we apply some dollar number to that, how much did we bring in over weekend?
We were a little over $20,000 last week.
Thank you.
Which is a nice start.
Great start.
Any other
Very good.
questions? Okay, thank you.
I want to listen to this next presentation.
Oh, okay. Childhood enrichment update. Brian Romans, Mariana, and Jessica Reyes.
Yep. So
Who's going to present?
there going to be numerous people presenting. I'll kind of
So many of us.
set the stage quickly here.
Does this have to do with this?
Yes.
Where
Okay.
are the children? There's no children?
Much for the children.
They're napping.
Lots
of pictures.
It's bedtime. But as you all, I'm sure, know, North Shore School District 112 has started providing full-day kindergarten to the Highland Park community. And while this is great for the residents to meet their educational needs, it did have an impact on our enrichment services that we provide to the kindergartners as well. As you know, we provide morning and afternoon to complement their half day in the past, and now with full day, it's had a great effect on a lot of our participation and how we approach meeting the enrichment needs of those kindergarten age groups. So the staff, and it's really been all of the who's been working on this for really the past year, really doing a ton of research, looking at a lot of data and engaging with the community to really try and tackle this challenge for us to find out how they can really meet the needs of this age group when it's now going to full-day kindergarten. So Mariana Henriquez, who oversees our recreation, manages our recreation services in Westridge, and Jessica Reyes, who manages Highland Nature Center and the Rosewood Interpretive Center, are going to talk about some of the data and the research that we did and some of the conclusions that we came up with. And then Kathy Fiore is going to bring it home with a brand new program that we have for the fall 2019, and we're very, very excited about it. But please listen in as staff tells you all the hard work they've been doing to address this.
So like Brian said, we are merely representatives of the whole park district. We took a global approach to the issue of declining registration with kindergarten because, of course, now they're in school and no longer with us. So we formed a committee with every single area of the park district together. The committee established 3 goals that we wanted to achieve, those being recapturing lost enrollment from kindergartners, increase enrollment from preschool age children, and the increased programming for grades 1 through 5. In order to achieve those goals, we had 3 strategies: data collection, research, current participation patterns, and of course, lots and lots and lots of parent and community engagement. From the data analysis and research portion of it, how we went about it is we analyzed our current participation trends, both by age, date, day of the week that the program meets, basically just trying to understand how is the community using our facilities and our programs for that age group, so preschool through 5th grade. We, of course, had to look at District 112 enrollment data to kind of understand what the demographics is that we are talking about. And then lots of transportation research, both with District 112 internally as well as other resources that are available to us. And then we did a competitor analysis. So if they're not coming to us, where are they going? Our results were that we saw a shift in the use of Park District programming from that age group, again, pre-K through 5th grade, more towards the skill-based programming. So we're talking more gymnastics, tennis, that kind of stuff. Declining school enrollment, that's pretty obvious with District 112 closing schools. That was not a surprise, but we just wanted to understand those numbers a little bit more. Lots of weekend programming, so with kids staying in school longer, they only have a certain amount of time to be with us, so weekend programming has become a lot more popular. We saw preschool participation decline, and we identified who our competitors were. And they're a little bit different depending on the age group, but it was just a good exercise to kind of know where they're going.
So after doing a lot of research, we wanted to reach out to the community, and we wanted it to be as easy as possible to reach as many people as we could. So our first step was doing an online survey. It was a short survey just asking generic questions about what are their interests, what are they involved in, where are they going, and what aren't we doing to meet their needs, and what can we do better. The next one was an open house that was held here at Westridge, and it was very similar format, asking them what can we do for you, what are we missing, how can we meet your needs, because we really wanted to know where are we lacking, because we want to fill those gaps so we can make a better program for community. And then last but not least was our crowdsourcing. We went to Centennial, we were at the rec center, and we also went to Highland Park Library. And what we did is we asked them, how many children do you have, what age, what type of programs do you go to, how often, are you using the Park District of Highland Park, if so what programs, why don't you use us for certain programs. So we asked them quite a bit of questions, and I believe that the crowdsourcing was the biggest source of where we got a lot of the valuable information. So our results from that was working parents, they need convenience of programs, and they need to cover all their work hours. So they need the morning all the way through the evening hours for their child care. They also need transportation, so they need early drop-off, they need late pickups. They want to be able to schedule their child to be at one place. So if it's Heller, then we can take them over here to Westridge, knowing they can pick them up and drop them off at that one location to make it a long day. Schedule restrictions and class cancellations and dependability. That was a huge one. A lot of our classes tend to cancel, and so they couldn't depend on us to be able to take care of their child.
So, of course, with all that information, we have to have some takeaways and some initiatives. And again, those were from every age group from K through 5th grade. It gets used differently for each age group, obviously, depending on the availability of that age group to be with us. But the big initiatives that we got is evening and weekend programming across the board for every age group. Global scheduling, so bringing the whole park district together, every area, to make sure that, one, we are not competing internally, so everybody is not offering the same program for the same age group on the same day of the week at the same time, but also to allow for interdepartmental collaboration. So programs that complement each other should be offered at the same time at the same location. We need to make this convenient for the parents to be able to cover a wide age range on one location. So a great example is our basketball program is super popular here at Westridge on Saturday mornings, covers 1st and 2nd grade. So then Heller coming here and offering a program for 3rd through 5th grade, same time, same location, just make it convenient for the parents so they're not running kids Uber service across Highland Park. And it just allows for us to really make it a comprehensive offering for the community, which is really important. Obviously maximizing on our existing audience. They're already here, right? So why not taking advantage of that? And that one child that's just sitting there watching their little brother play, now they have something else to do too. The cancellation portion, obviously we have to address that. The best way that we found to address is offer less. So we want less classes with minimums, hopefully maximums, less cancellations, and reliability for the community. So when you know that you signed up for one of our programs, it's going to run, and a month before the program, you're not worried about what am I going to do now.
That's a good thing to point out, because when they say cancellation, it doesn't mean that we cancel our classes. Mariana and the group is referring to the fact that the program is canceled. So you don't know until right before, are they going to make their numbers or not. So it's not that we're not dependable that we cancel classes, it's that we cancel the programs.
Right. The reason for it is lack of registration,
Right.
And we try to give as much time for parents to be able to make adjustments, but the reality is you're not running a program with 1 or 2 children in it. So when you're offering too much, you are splitting that audience and just getting 2 children on each program instead of trying to concentrate everybody in one quality program that, has everything for them, and it will run and be dependable. Transportation options. We have been able to secure from District 112 transportation to Westridge Center for the school year of 2019-2020. We are still looking at other opportunities, so we're using our internal resources, the Heller Bus, to talk about a new program, and you guys will see it later, but also looking at other opportunities. So the cost, what does it look like financially, and what does it look like from a convenience standpoint to bring an outside transportation service, and how does that help the community? And then, of course, partnerships, not only internal but also external. So a great example, the nursery school will be in our backyard, making sure that our programming matches time-wise, and it just complements their offerings to be able to serve that community as well as they are. So all of that, like I said, is applied to the age group pre-K through 5th, but it really kind of sparkled a new push for the pre-K age group, which Kathy's going to talk about, and we're very proud of it. So, hi guys. How are you? So I am super excited to talk to you about our Park School program. You have these brochures in front of us that the marketing department put together. These have already been circling the community through events and our current childhood enrichment programs. So thanks to the marketing department for these. Like Mariana and Jessica said, we've done a lot of research and community engagement. So district-wide, we're doing some pretty big initiatives for all age groups. I'm going to talk to you guys specifically about Park School, which is for our 2s, 3s, and 4-year-olds. What this is a representation of collaboration across the district to create a new childhood enrichment experience. So what we did is we took the most beloved parts of our park district, kind of enhanced them and redesigned it in a way to better complement parents' busy schedules. So from here, Park School was created. Like I said, it's for 2s, 3s, and 4s. Our 2s are our Sprouts, 3s is the Sapling program, and 4s are our Mighty Oaks program. This is a progressive learning system that really focuses on supporting each individual child's growth with the ultimate goal of kindergarten readiness. We all have mentioned, we've been collaborating on this together, and the Park School educational approach really encourages children to question and explore and discover and have kind of a hands-on experiential process of learning. This is based upon the STREAM education curriculum. So a lot of you in this room have heard of the STEAM approach. STEAM is an acronym standing for science, technology, engineering, art, and mathematics. STREAM is something that we kind of developed. The R, of course, represents recreation, because that's what we do here at the Park District. And we value recreation for so many reasons, but it really is so important to the development of all individuals, especially when you introduce recreation at an early age. This teaches children to work together. It teaches social skills, builds self-confidence, teamwork, and of course, very important, fine and gross motor skill development. So how are we going to incorporate recreation into our Park School? We met with all of the departments across the district. So our Nature Center, athletics, gymnastics, golf, aquatics, they're all going to bring their team of professionals to Park School, and they're going to periodically introduce different lessons to not only encourage recreation and developmental growth, but also expose these young kids to all these areas of the Park District. So these 2-year-olds who it's their first time here at the Park District, they're not having to sign up for all of these programs. Hopefully they will one day, but at least now they're getting introduced through it at Park School. But our biggest differentiating factor of Park School is the fact that the recreation team and the Heller team are now really one team in the childhood enrichment world, which we're really excited about. So what this will look like is the Heller team is going to come to our 2s and our 3s program. So we're going to do all kinds of things here at Westridge. We have our community garden. We have 16 acres of green space. We have a playground outside. So they're going to come to us and introduce all these really great experiential learning opportunities outdoors. But the really exciting part is for our Mighty Oaks. We have a Westridge Park School program in conjunction with a 4-year-old nature program. The reason this is special is because you can do a morning Park School program here at Westridge, hop on our complimentary shuttle bus, and you'll get driven over to either Rosewood Beach or Heller Nature Center, and there you'll have this really great environmental learning experience where we have access to 97 acres of green space, Lake Michigan, of course, Rosewood Beach, and then the best part is the kids get brought back to Westridge. So the parents never have to say, where's pickup today? I can't remember. Always at Westridge, and then they can stay at Westridge for aftercare if they need it. So that's another really important factor. You know, when we're programming, we always want high quality programming. That's always number one. But what we're really trying to focus on is high quality programming means nothing if it doesn't fit into the busy schedule of all of our parents in our community. So we've added before and after care to these programs. So children can be dropped off with us as early as 7:15 in the morning and picked up as late as 5:45 in the evening. And one piece why we did that morning and afternoon portion for the 4-year-olds is for that preparedness for the full day kindergarten. So when they go to kindergarten the following year, it's not their first time being in the classroom for an extended period of time. So back to that kindergarten readiness piece. So in addition to all of the work the programmers did, this was really a huge help from our marketing department. So this is a big change, but we're excited about it. I'm sure you can tell I'm excited about it. But the marketing team really tapped into the passion of our teachers, and they created these really great teaser videos that have been all over our social media. Liz wrote a really nice editorial article that explains what Park School is, and we've just had some really cool social media campaigns. We've kind of figured out where some of the really the blogs that have a high traffic rate, we're on those blogs, things like that. And then our registration team really did a lot of work to make sure the first impression of Park School, which is registration, is a seamless process. It's easy to understand. We made it accessible to a lot of families by taking different financial pieces into consideration, by allowing discounts, making sure families that qualify can use our grant and aid program, and things like that. So a huge thank you to our registration team for putting all of that work together. And it all kind of culminates tomorrow at 7 a.m. when registration begins. So we hope we have a really great turnout. We had a successful open house last night, and we're looking forward to what's to come. Does anyone have any questions about Park School?
Two things. One is the brochure is spectacular.
It's really nice. Thank you. I'm
Liz,
glad you like
whoever-
it.
I have a sort of harsher question, so I'll ask mine first.
Go ahead.
With District 112 partnering with their new vendor
Mhm.
to offer childhood services, how is that going to affect us, or is this in direct competition with them?
So this is for pre-K, so this specifically won't be in competition with them, but that is something that we're aware of. We actually were at the most recent PTO and PTA board meeting to just kind of remind them what we offer and talk about how can we work with you bringing after-school programs for grade K through 5th to the schools instead of the parents having to figure out where to go. So more to come on that, but we had a really productive meeting.
So that's great. No, I don't mind being in competition with them. I was just wondering.
Well, I mean, yeah.
I will take you over those guys anytime.
Thanks, Brian.
But I just was curious if it was,
Yeah.
and if it is, just beat them.
Yeah, we will.
Okay,
Yeah,
good.
well.
That's what I want to hear.
No, but in all seriousness, we are just embracing, with all of these changes in the community, we're just really embracing building partnerships everywhere we can. I think all these organizations in the community add value, so the more we can partner together and create really great programming for as many people as we can, that's what we do.
Awesome. It sounds great.
Yeah.
Anybody else?
So the summer programming is something separate. I was looking at the dates.
Yes,
So it's a typical school semester.
exactly.
Like that. And then within that, you have for the days that school is usually out, you are going to have special programming, or you're never out, or how does that kind of work?
So what we do is we found a happy medium based on our registration trends. We know a lot of the Highland Park community likes to travel when it's a long weekend. So what we did is we're fairly closely aligned with District 112 days off. So major holidays, Park School won't meet, but on days like Pulaski Days or Institute Day or conferences, things like that, we have Park School that meets just to make it easier on working parents so they're not constantly having to find alternative solutions. Even if the Park District, when we can, we try to offer really great days off programs, but that's still another step for a parent to find that program and sign up for it. So we kind of tried to do a balance to serve both audiences.
And then, is Park School a concept, or is it a name of a building? I mean, I think I know, but do you think there will be any confusion there? Just tell me about Park School.
I think Park School is a huge change, so people do have questions, but we're fortunate to have a good relationship with our community, so people have been asking. Park School is a concept. Right now, it's here at Westridge and it's here at Heller Nature Center. It's kind of a play on Park District,
I get it, yeah.
of course, and pre-K. So we are fortunate enough that because we're not in an accredited preschool, we can kind of design this childhood enrichment program that is a nice complement to existing schools in the area. So we feel strongly that once we get everyone in the door the first year, I think we're going to have a lot of really happy kids.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm quite sure. So it would be kind of like Park School at Westridge.
Exactly.
Like it'll be something like that.
Yeah, and it's our first year, so what we do is Sarah Stanke, who's here, one of our program supervisors, who's really going to be heavily involved with this, literally every feedback she gets, she's taking notes, and the benefit to introducing Park School in our summer brochure is we can always consider this feedback and move forward and tweak it where we can. And if Park School explodes, we'll make it bigger. And if we need to adjust things to make it more accessible to the public, we'll do that as well. So that's where we're at.
I think this is terrific. I think Park School is a great name, and I like that you are cashing in on the educational aspect of our programs, because that's what people know us for. We're just not play. And I especially think what's going to be a big hit, because I recall when my children were young, is you either had to sign up for the whole school year, not just the session. And it's that commitment where you're like, oh, I don't know if I want to do this for a whole year. So by giving them that option, I think you're going to get a lot of people giving it a shot, and then they'll love it and they'll keep coming back. And I just think that this is, the board's been discussing the wow factor recently. Like how do we inject that back into the Park District? We always do a great job, but where's the wow? And I think this is an excellent example of the wow factor, what you guys did. we saw the problem of declining enrollment, and you went out and you found the need. And I think it's going to be a huge success. I'm so excited about it. Just great job. And yeah, this is terrific, Liz. You did a great job. And it just gives a feel of school. You get a little bit of school with it. And I think it's great. I'm really excited. You guys did a great job finding a need, yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Speaking of Liz, go Highland Park.
Oh, Highland Road.
So I just want to say we're really excited about Park School. It's been a really, really fun project to work on. And if you've haven't had a chance to look at Facebook, there are some really fun videos that I think do a good job of kind of expressing the flavor of the excitement and how much fun this is going to be for the community. So I'm here tonight to talk about an exciting new grassroots initiative that will launch this summer to encourage residents, young and old, to get moving. It's titled Go Highland Park, and we're going to be joining more than 20 other neighboring municipalities that are active participants in this initiative. Go is a community-wide movement that's led and supported by the Lake County Health Department. So I want to give you a little history on how this all started and how we're going to be involved in this initiative. The Go Initiative was originally founded in 2016 by the Gurney Park District, and it was later adopted by Lake County. It was inspired by the U.S. Surgeon General's call to action for parks and recreation agencies across the country to motivate Americans to be more active. Quite simply, the challenge was to encourage people of all ages and stages in life to walk for 30 minutes a day. Very simple challenge. As a participating community in the Go Initiative, the Park District of Highland Park needs to fulfill a set of criteria. And those include create and maintain a Go Highland Park page on our website with a link to the Go Lake County website. And I want to let you know that development is in progress. We also need to create a free launch event with associated marketing support to explain what the initiative's all about. That first event will be a community walk on Saturday, June 8th at the community park at the Recreation Center of Highland Park.
We know what time on that.
I don't have the times yet. But that'll probably be coming out within the next few weeks. We'll have more specifics on that event. We also need to create, on an ongoing basis, free quarterly events to encourage residents to keep moving. The events could be group-led walks. They could be other physical activities such as biking or swimming or use your imagination. The marketing, planning, and Recreation Center of Highland Park teams are going to head up this initiative and manage it ongoing, but I just want to let you know there are many other facilities that have come to the team and said, hey, we want to get involved in this. We have some events that we'd like to participate and put it on the calendar for the Go Initiative. So it's going to be a really exciting initiative. It certainly aligns with our mission as a park district. I think there are also lots of partnering opportunities for us with the hospital, perhaps, and maybe some other biking initiatives that are taking place in Highland Park. So I think really, the world is our oyster with this, and I think it's definitely a great initiative that we can take and go with. So, any questions? And the other nice thing, too, is Lake County provided us with this really nice handy-dandy media kit. So this is basically what the logo looks like, and we can use the information in here to develop our own logo. So we'll be branded for Highland Park, but it'll still have the same look and feel of the other Go communities within Lake County. So,
Cool.
any questions?
Thank you.
Sounds good. Had a lot of good things going on.
This was fun. It's a fun meeting for once.
Yeah.
Are we on camera? Someone will yell at us eventually.
They're all fun.
Parks Foundation update. Commissioner Grossberg.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for. I got some notes. Give me a second.
Going once.
Hold on. Uh-oh.
Would you like
Sorry.
us to come back to you?
The shrimp boil?
Yeah, give me,
Shrimp boil?
just give me a second here.
Let's go, yeah, Kathy, let's go to the director's.
Good.
All right, well, tomorrow is the first day of summer registration, which also includes signing up for Park School, starting at 7 a.m. The annual Athletic Champions Banquet is Tuesday, May 21st, from 6 to 8:30 at the Country Club. The coach, Mike Ditka, will be speaking. Tickets are on sale now, right?
Mhm.
$75 for adults and $50 for 20 and younger. Proceeds will benefit the Parks Foundation of Highland Park Smile Grant and Aid Program. Centennial Ice Arena will have the annual ice show. This year's theme is Happy Campers on May 17th at 7 o'clock and May 18th at 11 o'clock. Those tickets will go on sale starting April 29th at 9 a.m. And you can get those at Centennial or online. The dance show, this year's dance show, is Saturday, May 4th at 2 o'clock at the high school. And you can purchase those for $8, and they're available in person or online. The theater show, Hairspray Junior, is Sunday, May 5th at 2:30 at Edgewood Middle School from 4 to 6:30. Tickets are $10, again, in person or online. And Sunset Valley will host on May 5th their Cinco de Mayo Fiesta and Golf. The 1390 restaurant will have special pricing on fajitas, tacos, chips, and guacamole, and much more. Also, they'll be hosting the Mother's Day brunch on May 12th. And moms who golf on this day will receive a complimentary sleeve of golf balls and 25% off on all women's clothing. So, and then also we are still hiring for lifeguards. We probably need about a dozen more. Camps still have some opening, and Annette is already working on the budget for next year.
Excellent. No rest for the weary, huh?
So that's
I am.
exciting.
I've got it. If you need, if now's a good time, I've got the
Oh,
information.
okay. Wait, Commissioner Grossberg would like to give his report now.
Thank you, President Kaplan. Okay, so we had an audit of the foundation, and it's complete, and we're awaiting the report. The goal is to file the audit papers by May 15th. So we were encouraged by Director Curtis to create a 2019 budget based on last year's statement. And so, and we've added some additional revenues that we're trying to get through grants and some of the events that we look like will maybe be a yearly happening for us. The big thing we talked about for the whole first hour was Brian Romes was there to talk to us about a capital campaign idea having to do with the short game course at Sunset Valley Golf Course. So I'm going to turn it over to Brian a little bit to just give us a few more details on that.
Sure, I'll just give you a brief update. So we have that small parcel of land just south of the parking lot where the Parks building used to be, and now it's just some open space. It's about 3.5 acres. And we also received a very generous donation to be used towards youth golf development and the development of golf at Sunset Valley, as well as we held the golf outing last fall to raise money for the foundation, I should say, raised the money for the same purpose. And so we have been working with our golf architect, Rick Jacobson, who has put together for us a nice rendering of that, what a short game practice area would look like. And that short game practice area would be used for golf instruction for youth as well as for golfers before they play a round of golf to help them warm up and work on their short game prior to a round of golf. And it's really critical to have this at that location. We do have, of course, Highland Park Golf Learning Center, but that doesn't do a lot of good for people who are actually already at Sunset Valley. So we presented this to the foundation as a capital campaign idea, and they embraced the concept.
Right. So the key is that we have this generous donation and we have additional monies, but they're not going to start the project or commit to it until we've raised all or most of this money. So it's our job as a foundation then to fill that gap before they'll officially get started with the planning of it. So we're looking to add, I think the number was something between $75,000 and $100,000 over the next, hopefully within a year, and get this thing kicked off at the end of 2020.
Hopefully it would be, construction will begin in 2020, next year, and then it would open in the summer of 2021.
Yeah, I think it would be great, for sure. I did want to mention a couple other things. First of all, we had the shrimp boil at Bluegrass. I know that didn't sound right. Bluegrass. I think we raised
I don't know why you asked me.
around $4,000 in that area. So that was a terrific event. I've never been to one before. It was frightening because I just didn't. I never saw anything like it. So, but it was really cool. And the person that won the 50-50 raffle donated the money back to the cause. So it was great. Bob Bernstein, the president, has set up a couple of yoga at Ravinia events. We had one last year that was so cool. So on June 9th and July 30th, they're going to, with the purchase of a ticket, and it's one of the, they'll have like world music or things like that where the ticket's $10 or whatever like that. They just set up a yoga. They bring in one of the instructors from the Park District. And I think last year, without a ton of notification, we had about 20 people doing yoga. We had people that didn't know anything about it and just said, hey, can we join? And they did. So we'll have a couple of those. And then we just pass. Bob speaks to them, and then we just pass around a bucket and we make some change. It's not it's more for awareness than it is for raising large amounts of money. They're going to build a sponsorship/membership packet to help with this capital campaign, so we're working on that as well. So,
Thank you.
that's it. You're welcome.
Okay, anything else from the board? Now we get to my favorite time, open to the public to address the board. Mr. and Mrs. Public?
I wondered if we must have missed it, but what was the result of the oration of the barge?
You haven't missed anything.
Some long meetings they missed.
Yes, but no, we still aren't there yet. There will be another report and presentation in the
I'm not concerned.
somewhat near future. Okay. Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
A second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Show that we're done at 7:18.
Call the roll.
Oh, you
No?
No.
No, you don't need to call roll for
No.
that.
Okay.
We can do it by voice. Okay, thank you, everybody. Sorry,
Brian, because we're not going into closed session.
you get the next.
Because we're not going into
tickets
closed session.
When is it?
again.
That's there in
For
case
other
we go.
consideration.
Real quick.